Today, I'm going to tell you about a disappearance that happened in Beijing, China. An experienced hiker disappeared without a trace in a mountain area he knew well. The case caused a huge sensation in China. Even though nearly 20 years have passed, it's still widely discussed, with people online turning into armchair detectives, determined to solve the mystery. So what exactly happened back then? And why did this case cause so much attention? Let me break it down. Mentugu lies in western Beijing. It's rugged, endless ridgelines and deep valleys. About 98.5% of the district is mountainous, and there are more than 150 peaks rising above 3,000 feet. It's also one of the closest mountain areas to the city, and it's easy to reach. The mountainous area is vast, and many places remain undeveloped, so it's a long-time favorite for hikers and outdoor enthusiasts. This is where our story takes place. Ren Tiesheng was a middle school geography teacher. He was in great shape and loved hiking. He had 30 years of hiking experience and had climbed many mountains around Beijing. And as a geography teacher, he was very familiar with the local terrain and landforms. On the evening of September 29, 2008, with China's Golden Week holiday approaching, Mr. Ren told his family that he had planned to go hiking with colleagues the next day. But the two colleagues who were supposed to go with him both canceled. One had an urgent family matter, and the other was traveling to another city for the holiday. Mr. Ren decided that since he would be alone, he would hike in Mentugu, closer to home. He told his wife that at the latest, he would be back by midnight the next day. His wife knew hiking had been his passion for many years, so she didn't object. After telling his wife, Mr. Ren began preparing his gear for the next day. Since he planned to return the same day, he didn't pack much, just a large bottle of water, some bread, and a few sausages in his backpack. The weather in late September wasn't cold, but he still packed long sleeves and pants. Of course, his phone was essential. He also brought a newspaper. On past hikes, he had used newspapers to leave markers along the way in the mountains. At 5 a.m. on September the 30th, 2008, Mr. Ren set out wearing a short-sleeved shirt, black shorts, and carrying a dark blue backpack. Later that day, his wife called to ask when he might be home. His phone was switched off. Thinking it might be due to no signal or a dead battery, she didn't worry too much. But that evening, the phone still couldn't be reached, and the family began to panic. Still, remembering that he had said he would be back by midnight at the latest, they decided to wait. At 10 a.m. on October 1st, with no sign of Mr. Ren, the family reported him missing to the police. At the same time, his wife posted an emergency online call for help to find Mr. Ren. The post quickly caught the attention of hikers and internet users. Following friends' advice, Mr. Ren's wife contacted an outdoor rescue team in Beijing. After receiving the call for help, the team assembled personnel and arrived in the area early the next morning. But Mentugu's mountainous terrain makes up 98.5% of the area, and there are more than 100 peaks over 3,280 feet. Which mountain would Mr. Ren have gone to? Before the search began, local police provided a key clue that narrowed the search area. With help from the communications department, a cell tower near Miaofeng Mountain picked up Mr. Ren's phone signal. The phone was turned off at 4 p.m. on October 1st, and the tower could receive phone signals within about 6 miles. On October 2nd, more than 20 rescuers arrived at Miaofeng Mountain and split into 3 groups to search. By October 3rd, after 2 days of searching, they found nothing. Over those days, news of Mr. Ren's disappearance spread through media reports across Beijing. Large numbers of volunteers gathered in Mentugu to join the search, and firefighters as well as other rescue teams also arrived at Miaofeng Mountain. On October 4th, the 5th day since Mr. Ren went missing, the number of rescue personnel continued to grow, and many hikers from outside the area also came into the mountains to help. Unfortunately, there had been a lot of rain, the brush was thick, the temperature was low, and visibility was poor. These conditions made the search much harder. Even search dogs couldn't find any clues. At 3 p.m., one rescue group found a footprint. Because it had rained in the mountains, only the front of the footprint remained visible, with the toes pointing downhill. According to information provided by Mr. Ren's wife, the size and tread pattern matched the shoes Mr. Ren had been wearing when he left. The rescue team followed the direction of the footprint with high hopes, but aside from that single print, nothing else was found. On October 8th, while the rescue teams were still searching around Miaofeng Mountain, Beijing police suddenly brought that shock to everyone. Near Beijing West Railway Station, about 22 miles from the mountain area, a nearby cell tower picked up a signal showing his phone was powered on October 7th. The most reasonable explanation was that the phone had been lost or stolen. Unfortunately, the person who took the phone was never found. In other words, someone carrying Mr. Ren's phone appeared near the railway station on October 7th. If we push the speculation further back, then the phone signal that appeared near Miaofeng Mountain on October 1st might not have been Mr. Ren at all. Even that partial footprint could have been from the same model of shoe and not necessarily left by Mr. Ren. On October 8th, a shop owner near Miaofeng Mountain provided a lead. Mr. Ren had asked him where in the nearby mountains there were the most walnuts. The shop owner replied that a village about 6 miles away was known for walnuts. The rescue team immediately went to the village the shop owner mentioned. As soon as they took out Mr. Ren's missing person flyer, villagers recognized him. A villager said that on the morning of September 30th, Mr. Ren had asked him for directions to Tieduo Mountain. The rescue team immediately headed to Tieduo Mountain. Sure enough, at the foot of the mountain, in a hawthorn grove, they found many hawthorns that had been eaten. There were also many route markers made from newspaper, tied to trees, more than 20 in total. After confirmation, the newspapers used for the markers were from an issue Mr. Ren had bought on September 25th, and the newspaper at his home was missing that exact issue. This essentially confirmed that the markers had been left by Mr. Ren. The last newspaper marker was only about 160 feet from the summit of Tieduo Mountain. Based on when Mr. Ren asked for directions and on his physical condition, the rescue team estimated that he likely reached the summit at around 3 p.m. that day. In other words, he successfully made it to the top and then went missing during his descent. Logically, if he followed the markers he had made, he should have been able to get down. So, why did he disappear? The rescue team believed it might have been because the weather was bad that day. By around 3 or 4 in the afternoon, it began to get dark. Mr. Ren may have rested at the summit for a while and lost time. When he started down, he couldn't find the markers he had made and then got lost. So the rescue team analyzed the descent routes. There were 4 possible ways down from Tieduo Mountain. Since Mr. Ren did not descend along the newspaper-marked route, that meant it could only have been one of the other 3 routes. Based on the clues they had and the results of previous searches, the rescue team ruled out the least likely route, leaving 2 possible routes. It turned out their judgment was correct. Soon, on a mountainside along one of the routes, they found a campsite built from dry grass, along with human waste nearby. The campsite was built very professionally and was likely made by Mr. Ren. On the branches near the campsite, they also found a message sealed in a plastic bag. The note was written on a used student test paper. It read, "Retired teacher Ren Taisheng climbed Tieduo Mountain on September 30th. I got lost on the way back. I will stay here on the mountain for 1 night. At 12 p.m. on October 1st, I will move along the ridge toward the northeast to Shizidao village, just in case. I leave this note, given with care to anyone who passes by. Mr. Ren." The date, September 30th, was crossed out, and then October 1st, 12 p.m. was written in. According to the note, Mr. Ren got lost on the way down. Since it was already late, he didn't take the risk of descending in the dark. Instead, he chose to wait until the sun came up the next day so he could get his bearings before moving. That seems reasonable, but if you look closely, there are still some troubling questions. First, the note suggests Mr. Ren knew his direction clearly and didn't seem like someone completely disoriented, so he should have been able to make it out. Why was there no further trace after that? The campsite was less than about 330 feet from the newspaper markers. Even if he couldn't see them at night, he should have been able to spot them after daybreak. So why didn't he descend along the newspaper-marked route? The rescue team searched along the direction toward Shizidao village as written in the note. Although the route was clear, the search became much more difficult. That was because the mountain area had once contained many small coal mines. After years of mining, the mountains were riddled with holes and caves of all sizes. Later, the mines were abandoned and villagers moved away. Few people had been there for many years. Now, the ground was covered with dead grass and fallen leaves, making it impossible to tell where a hole might be. If Mr. Ren had fallen into one of these holes, it would have been very difficult to find him. By October 21st, it had been 22 days since Mr. Ren went missing, During that period, rescue teams carried out thousands of search efforts, and countless volunteers joined in. But such a massive operation ended with the outcome everyone least wanted. At that point, a large-scale search no longer made sense. Mr. Ren's family also stated that the chance of his survival was very small, and they didn't want to keep consuming enormous public resources for a search with no leads. Even though 18 years have passed since Mr. Ren disappeared, online discussions have never stopped. Let me summarize the points people debate most. The first major question is Mr. Ren's phone. Why did his phone signal appear in the mountains on October 1st, and then appear again at the railway station on October 7th? From the note Mr. Ren left, and from what villagers reported in their conversation with him, we can confirm that Mr. Ren was indeed on Tieduo Mountain on September 30th. But later, when he became lost in the mountains, he never called for help. There was phone signal near Tieduo Mountain, which strongly suggests that when he got lost, the phone was not on him, meaning the phone was stolen or lost during that time. My guess is that the person who obtained the phone turned it off immediately. Then, on the afternoon of October 1st, they turned it on. They wanted to see what was on the phone. After checking, they feared someone might call, so they hurriedly turned it off again. That brief on-off signal was captured by the cell tower. On October 7th, the person who had the phone went near the railway station and sold it. Naturally, the buyer would need to check whether the phone worked, so they turned it on. After confirming it was fine, they paid and threw away the SIM card. After that, police could no longer trace any signal. The second confusing point is the note Mr. Ren left behind. Many internet users interpreted the note in various ways, including conspiracy theories and kidnapping scenarios, claiming the content had hidden meanings, such as the changed date and the strange phrase, "given with care to anyone who passes by." But I don't think it's likely someone could abduct a person deep in the mountains. Those mountain paths are hard enough for one person to traverse, let alone to forcefully escort someone. As for the crossed-out date, I think it's possible that when he wrote the message early the next morning, he instinctively wrote September 30th, the date he had left home, and then later realized the mistake and corrected it from September 30th to October 1st. The third question is, why didn't Mr. Ren descend by following the newspaper markers he had made? I think there are two possibilities. The first is that, although the markers were within about 330 feet, the mountains were heavily wooded, and 330 feet is not a short distance. Not being able to see them wouldn't be strange. In dense forest, especially when you can't tell direction, anything even a few dozen feet away can be invisible. Usually, people choose a direction and keep moving rather than walking a few hundred feet, realizing it's wrong, backtracking, and then trying another direction for another few hundred feet. So my guess is that on the second day, Mr. Ren didn't find his own markers and instead chose another route down. The second possibility is that after leaving the note, Mr. Ren quickly found another path down. For example, he may have seen a village in the distance and felt certain another route would be safer. So he didn't choose the route he had marked, and there would have been no need to retrieve the newspaper markers. But if he had already found a safe way down, then where did he go? My guess is that during his descent, he accidentally fell into a well-hidden hole. With so many fallen leaves in the mountains, the opening could have been quickly covered, and the fall may have been severe enough to leave him unable to move or call out, so no one ever discovered him. Of course, all of this is only my personal speculation. In 2016, a hiking enthusiast discovered 2 sets of human remains in a mountain cave in Mentugu. The cave was about 130 feet deep. One set of bones had already turned yellow, clearly very old, while the other was more recent. Since the location wasn't far from where Mr. Ren disappeared, some people suspected it might be him, but testing later confirmed it was not. To this day, Mr. Ren has still not been found. No body, no confirmed endpoint, and no piece of evidence that can assemble all the clues into a complete picture. So, in your opinion, what else could have happened back then? Is there a detail we still haven't noticed, or another possibility that has been overlooked? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Maybe the truth is hidden in an angle no one has raised yet,